This tutorial is about a technique that I discovered almost accidentally when I was testing different ways to make Nupps. At some point it seemed fun to make it in a different color, and the result was very interesting. Those little colorful Nupps turned a simple stockinette swatch into a beautiful, highly textured polka dot. This effect could be used in so many different ways, especially if you make projects for the little ones. And the best part is, it's not complicated at all. Because Nupps are worked on just one stitch, you can add them to your project without adjusting the pattern in any way. Simply make a Nupp whenever you want with whatever color you like. And in this video I'll show you how. First, work to the spot where you plan to make a Nupp. For me it's gonna be right here. It's a tiny swatch and I want to add a Nupp right in the middle of it. Let go of the working yarn and then pick up the contrasting color yarn. We're gonna use it as a working yarn for the Nupp. There is no need to attach it in any special way. Simply hold it somehow and leave a small tail about a couple inches, 5 centimeters. And then make a Nupp with this contrasting color. So that's how we do it. Insert the right needle into the next stitch, knitwise. Then wrap the needle with the contrasting color yarn, pull it through, basically knit a stitch. Pull the needle to make the loop bigger. Then make a yarn over, again make it a bit bigger. Then go into that same stitch and knit another stitch. Another yarn over, another stitch, one more yarn over, and the last stitch. All together we'll have seven loops. 2, 4, 6, 7. See, I have 7 loops on the right needle. That's my Nupp. Now I can let go of the original stitch and finish off the Nupp using the same contrasting color yarn. Here's how. Insert the left needle from left to right into all the 7 wraps. You can clearly see them because they are in contrasting color, which is quite helpful. And to make sure you insert the needle into all the wraps, you don't skip any wrap, pull it out occasionally, like every 2 wraps or so, and then pull it out to check that you have the wraps on the needle, just like this. And that's why we made the wraps a bit bigger, because if the wraps are tight, then it's not easy to put the needle inside, but when the wraps are quite loose, it's quite doable. So it's not complicated at all. Then wrap the right needle with the contrasting color yarn and pull it through, knitting basically all the 7 wraps together. That's it. That's your Nupp. Now cut the contrasting color yarn, leaving a small tail, and pick up the working yarn so that it kind of wraps the Nupp from behind, and all the tails are down. So you can see, I'll show you from the wrong side. So when I pull the working yarn in main color, the tails are all down. So it's not under the tails, it's basically kind of wrapping them. And that's important because then it will make your life easier when a bit later when we finish off the tails. And continue working in the pattern. So for me it's going to be a simple stockinette stitch. So I'm going to knit. And then in the wrong side, again, you just treat that colorful stitch as you would treat any other stitch. So for me it's going to be purling. So I'm going to purl this row, and then I'll show you how to deal with those tails. It's very important to work at least one more row, because then you will see a very interesting thing. And in just a few moments I'll show you what I mean. So when we knit or work, or whatever your pattern is, at least one more row, then you will notice that, first of all, because the Nupp is not attached to the working yarn, it's a bit messy, kind of, right? Besides, when we worked the next row, in my case it was a purl, then I kind of pulled on that stitch, and the Nupp doesn't really look round. It's kind of more like a, I would say like a drop shaped, right? And that's not what we want. We want to have the Nupps like round polka dots. and we're gonna fix that. It's easy, and I'm gonna show you just in the comparison. Here's my swatch. I'm gonna show you the difference, so don't get stressed if your Nupps look like this, because that's all that can be fixed. The finished look would be like this. See, they're more round, each of them, and they do look like polka dot a lot, right? So here's how we turn this a bit messy Nupp into quite nice finished Nupp. Turn your work. You can do it right after you finish the second row, or you can do it at the end when you finish the project. Doesn't really matter. Turn your work and then pull on the tails, especially the one that is on the right, because this tails goes to that stitch. So pull on it so that the stitch is really small, so it basically doesn't exist anymore because we pulled on it, and that easily turns the Nupp into a nice round shape. So you pull the yarns. That's a bit of a creative process. I won't pull the left tail a lot because it kind of makes the Nupp smaller, but if you like it, then go ahead and basically shape the Nupp this way. But it's very important to pull on the right one, on the right tail, because that one minimizes that stitch. Basically it you don't see it anymore, right? And then once you've shaped the Nupp, then simply tie the two tails using a simple square knot, just like this. And this way the Nupp won't unravel even when somebody's little fingers start pulling on it. The Nupp will stay there. What to do with those tails? Of course, in a perfect world, you would want to probably weave them in within the Nupp because you don't want the contrasting color to show on the right side. But personally, I don't find it necessary because it takes a lot of time. Just imagine you would have a number of Nupps and then you have to weave in tails for each of them. So what I do, I simply cut the tails. Leave a tiny little bit of a tail and then cut the yarn. That's it. It doesn't look perfect, but it's pretty acceptable, and besides it saves a lot of time. So I'm going to show you how this swatch looks on the wrong side. I did exactly the same thing. I simply tied the tails and then trimmed them. See, you can still see those little tails, but because it's wool, if you work with wool, then those little tails, they will eventually get felted into the yarn and then they won't be showing at all. So it will be all like one just flat fabric. That's it. And that's how you make colorful Nupps. That's it. Now you know a fun way to make unique, colorful projects. If you need step-by-step instructions, follow the link in the description. Thank you for watching this video and have a wonderful week. I'll see you next Thursday.